Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Broku no Hero. Today we have a pretty cool and a very interesting video that might be affirming some of my previous theories of potential future villains or characters within the universe of our favorite manga and anime, Black Clover. So guys, this will include manga spoilers, so if you don't want to be spoiled at all, well, don't watch it. But it's going to be a very minor spoiler, has nothing to do with the current plot of the manga, so you can pretty much watch this and not really get much of the story spoiled to you, except that there's going to be a flashback involving the Wizard King. Honestly, probably should have known that at some point we'd get flashbacks of the Wizard King, so it's not that much of a spoiler. But anyways, guys, this is a video talking about the potential teasing of Viking Rune magic in Black Clover. So, before we get into it, guys, please let me know your thoughts down below, and also leave a like and subscribe. So, recently in chapter 204, we got a really good flashback chapter with some very important information, but I already did a video talking about chapter 204. Here's a card if you want to watch it, and a link in the description. But this is about something different. Now, when it shows Sekre talking to the first Wizard King, she goes in and she's going to be his assistant. Well, he's studying ancient magic because he wants to he wants to make the classes equal. He wants the commoners and the peasants to have just as much mana as the royals and the nobles. And he's trying to make a magic device, and he's creating, or he tells Sekre that he is studying ancient magic. Now, at this moment, he is not studying Viking magic that is speculated, but we get this big panoramic picture of the first Wizard King at his desk with a bunch of different magic items, it looks like. And we get a bunch of crystals, a bunch of vases, an hourglass, some feathers, a bunch of different things that could be potentially big. But what's funny is right next to his left hand is a vase. Now, on this vase, it just looks like it's in the background for no reason. And honestly, you could say that. But if you zoom in, and honestly, it is very, very hard to see because if you zoom in, it gets pretty blurry. But when you do zoom in, these symbols look a bit more important than you might think. And that is that these look like runes and stav runes. Now, stav runes are combinations of runes. Now, they can be like personal creations where nobody really will know what the stav rune means except for the creator, because a stav rune, you combine a bunch of runes, and not only are you combining runes, but the combinations will create other runes that are not going to be easy to see. So the stav runes are personal for the most part, so there's really no way for me to decipher what this is going to say, because it looks like this is a huge combobulation of a bunch of different runes. Now, the very middle of this vase, though, has a concrete rune. Now, this is 100% a rune. This is not just a theoretical stav rune. The very center of it has the rune Ur, if that's how you pronounce it, or Uruz in Germanic. I believe Ur is the Old Norse, and Uruz is the Germanic version. So, this rune Ur is one of my favorite runes. It is the rune of power, the rune of strength. It is a very powerful rune, I guess you could say, if it's the rune of power. And it's funny how this is in the center of it. So this is the centerpiece with a bunch of different stav runes around it. Now, interestingly enough here, though, you might say, well, Broku, this rune is inversed. This is the inverse. This is a reverse of the rune Ur, so this is not it. Now, you could say that, but I don't agree with that, because if you combine the lore of what an inverse rune is and what it does and what it means, combine that with the first Wizard King's goal, it makes sense why that rune is inversed here. As you see, the first Wizard King's goal was to create equality between the classes, equality of mana amount. So if this is the rune of power, and this rune is inversed, well, what does an inversed rune means? Well, one of its meanings can be the opposite. So, if the rune means strong, because that's what Ur is, if it's inversed, it could mean weak. If it's powerful, it could be powerless when it's inversed. So, if you combine those two things, it seems that the first Wizard King was using a bunch of different stav runes, and then the rune Ur, the rune of power, to try and create a vase that contained a potion that could potentially take mana from royals and nobles and give that to commoners and peasants, and give that to them permanently. It would very much make sense here that this rune, the rune of power, is inversed in the middle, and there's a bunch of different other stav runes around it. Now, I mean, honestly, like I said, I can't really go through and say what these stav runes mean, because stav runes are extremely hard and pretty much impossible to completely decipher, unless if you were the creator of them, or the creator of them left like some sort of key. Now, I do see the rune of Dagas. That it looks like it is definitely within the actual stav runes, and it does look like there's potentially Gebo and Hagalas, as well as Pertho. It looks like there might be another Ur or Uruz, and even a Fehu, a Othala, and more runes, especially a Lagus looking in the mid-left section of the vase. So, yeah, there is definitely a lot of evidence to show that these are stav runes, but the very center pretty much proves that that is the rune Ur or Uruz, and that is the rune of power. Now, like I said, this rune is inversed, which could mean that this is power being taken away, or something like that. There are other uses for inversing a rune, and I don't really know the other uses. That is not in the book of what I read. Like, I read a book on the Viking runes, and it was like, just a basic summary of what they were, and then a book of, how to use them. I don't actually really use runes. I just think they're really cool. But, basically, that's one of the things I read in this book, is that if you inverse the rune, you can mean the opposite power. Now, it can be a cautionary tale of, don't draw this rune inversed, or else you could be bad, or she's letting you know, if you need the opposite of what this rune offers, well, just inverse it. But anyways, this would be really cool, because I have been talking about the relevance of Norse mythology within Black Clover for a long time now. I even talked about the possibility of Vikings being in Black Clover, which I would absolutely love. I think that'd be really awesome if they were. And the Vikings, the runes were theirs. They used runes. That's kind of stuff that they did. And they would use runes as in use them for help, or use it just for things of, when they would craft weapons, they would put their runes on it. Things like that is what they would do. And if you don't know what the runes are, according to mythology of the Norse mythology, Odin created the runes. They are extremely powerful. Extremely, extremely powerful. Like, it's hard to explain how powerful they are. They all, basically represent something. Like, Uruz, or Ur, that's power. There's Thor has his own rune, which, resembles the power of Thor, the power of lightning, and it also is a protection rune. And actually, each rune can actually have multiple powers. So yeah, that's how strong the runes are. But yeah, so if runes are in Black Clover, and if they're an actual thing of magic, that means Odin might be in Black Clover. That means the Norse gods might be in Black Clover. That means the Vikings might be within Black Clover, which is all extremely exciting stuff. I think introducing the Aesir gods of Norse mythology, even the Vanir gods, would be really cool. Now, I don't know if they would want a God of War path where the Norse gods are evil, or if we want to be on the same side as the Norse gods. I would probably prefer to be on the same side. I'd love to see my boy Asta trying to interact with Thor and Balder, and maybe they'd be fighting Jotuns, the giants, instead, and maybe Ragnarok will be a saga or an arc within Black Clover. I think that'd be really cool stuff to see. But yeah, I'm pretty sure, guys, that this is confirmed. We now have Viking rune magic in Black Clover. One thing that it could be, though, is that the first Wizard King was just studying these runes. Maybe these runes don't actually work. Maybe in Black Clover, the runes are just a sham. Maybe they're nothing. And maybe that's why the first Wizard King was not working on that rune. Or on those runes. Well, it's because he did find and actually created an even better device, which was used in this series. But anyways, guys, that's my thoughts for this video. Holy crap. Really hope that the Vikings do come, or other Norse references, but hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please do leave a like, comment, and subscribe, as well as turn on notifications to be notified every time I upload a Black Clover video. Plus...